Our history is of people who want to introduce others to Jesus. Gathering people from the quarry workers, that's what they wanted. That's why they gathered them, because they wanted to introduce them to Jesus. And so that's who we are from day one.
My name is Joyce Haglund, and I've been part of this church my whole life. Both sides of my family immigrated from Sweden. My grandfather worked at the shipyard. My great-grandfather came over to work in the quarries. And they were immigrants that basically started reading the Bible in their houses, in their homes, and started this church to minister to some of the quarry workers.
My name is Robert Dano, and I've been at this church since 1959. So I was in 6th grade when our family moved here, and been here ever since, really. My parents were immigrants. English was not their first language, so they both had pretty thick accents. And when we came here, we met Ken Nelson's dad, Arthur Nelson, who was from Sweden, who had a very thick, rich European accent. And he showed us around. He was so friendly. And when my dad took us around, the kids, and he said, "Well, where do you want to go?" And we all said, "Oh, we got to go to the place with the man with the Swedish accent," because it felt like home, and it has always felt like home, really.
The people here in this congregation they care so much for each other, but they also care for this city in ways that they have reached out through our work with the Quincy Crisis Center, our Food for Thought program now, and the Children's Pantry has been going on for more than 25 years, and all of that was a way of helping people, just wanting to be helpful, because they knew that they had been helped along the way, and they knew because they were followers of Jesus. They knew that that's what they're supposed to be doing, and very, very generous with money, but generous with their hands and their heart as well.
You know, one of the things that has impressed me over the years is that this church has always been willing to help and been, I think, generous to anyone who needed help.
I think because we're on this corner and so close to the downtown, we've always been a really important part of the culture of the city, have always had a real generosity and a willingness to give to the needy in the city. Was the home of the original Covenant faith meal for the Esther Sanger and the Crisis Center. I think we were one of the first places that Esther used to park her camper to minister to some of the folk, the homeless and the folks here in Quincy that really, really needed help, needed assistance. And she wasn't welcome in a lot of places, and we weren't popular at certain times because we allowed that to happen on this corner. As far back as I can remember, there's always been a real commitment to missions, including world missions. My Aunt Marion was born into this church, and when I was very young, I was only a toddler when she first went to the Congo as a missionary. It was instilled in us from a real early age in this church that we were given a lot, and we really should give back.
For many years I was a member of the choir, and we had a remarkable choir director. His name was Richard Smith, who got us to do things we never thought we could. We would get together and he would say he listened to a recording of something or other, Sanctus from Mendelssohn or something like that. And then he'd get this interesting little smile on his face and he would say, "Well, it was good, but you folks do it better." And we would all laugh. He said, "You can't be serious." And he would always say, "Well, those were professional musicians. They sang everything technically correct. But when I hear you sing it, I hear it come from your heart." Sorry. And that meant so much to us.
One of the most wonderful things I think that has happened in the coming together of the two congregations is kind of a continuing legacy, in that Luther Eck was the pastor of this congregation back in the 1950s when this building was constructed. And Luther Eck was the grandfather of Kathleen Sharkey, and what a wonderful connection.
I really see the joining of these congregations as the next generation of this church, and really are handing our legacy off to the next generation so that they can do that same fostering and nurturing, and in however many years turn it over to the next generation, so that we have many, many, many generations of families that find Christ on this corner.
I mean, I see this as basically our ministry going forward. And even now, as it's a combined church, it's still one church, it's still a Covenant Church, and I think our ministry should continue to be the same, to reach out to people and to help wherever we can. So I see it as just moving forward, you know, and it's now one unified church, and I think that's a good thing.
We sometimes laugh about the fact that, you know, we prayed for more people and then High Rock showed up. And so this is a way of helping us to do what we've always done, to reach more people for Jesus, whether it's here in our sanctuary or here in this city, or as far as we can reach. It's who we are. I don't think there's an end to what God might have in store for this place, and that to me is just that's the joy of it all.